Welcome to On Air with Kash. Our guest today has been featured in Flaunt and Bazaar for the release of her new single, Have a Nice Life, in January 2022. Her new single, Kids in Love, is available today. Please welcome Jordan Michelle.
Thank you for having me.
Jordan, it is so nice to meet you and have you on the show. I've been following your career the past year, but I just love your sound, your style, and you have just such a fascinating story as well, too.
Oh, thank you so much. I love that.
So you just released Have a Nice Life, January 2022. You've just really kickstarted this off perfectly.
Oh yeah. And thank you. You know, it's funny because basically my first single came out in November, which is crazy because I've been in this game for a minute, so it's like I certainly did not just like write a song and put it out in November, but there was like some label drama and whatever. So, it's like I have so much material and I'm constantly working on new material, and it feels like I kind of like lit the match and now it's going, and it's really, really exciting. And I was super stoked to release a song January 7th because I feel like the industry always kind of like goes dark during holiday time. So to come out of like holiday time, New Year's, and just sort of like hit the ground running with that was super, super exciting and just like the best way to start the year. So I had a single come out. I interviewed with Flaunt. I had a digital cover of Bazaar, which is freaking insane. Like that intro, I have these moments where I take a step back and I'm just like, holy shit, I'm doing it. It's really exciting. And I just have a bunch of stuff lined up. Kids in Love comes out today, which is exciting. I'm very, very grateful.
I was really fascinated by your story too. I think we had similar backgrounds growing up. I mean, I was brought up out here. My dad was in the music industry. He was an executive. So I grew up around entertainment, and I was performing when I was a kid. I did some commercials and some, a movie, and then I was making films in college. And then it was an interesting time because, one of the things that I know that revolves in your music is about how your songs, you've used them for healing. And everything's kind of helped you get on with a certain point in life. And I felt like I grew up fast. I got exposed to a lot. There were some losses, like not do the industry. And then I had this arrhythmia and I woke up from this out of body experience. And I was like, you need to get back on your path. And so then I ended up going into more of a company job within the industry. And then it took me a while, like, you know what, I really just want to be creative. And then that led to more just producing, getting back into acting, doing the show. And I know with you had always been involved with music and interested in music. And then you were going to go to law school. You had a whole other career idea going down, and then all of a sudden you went through some things as well too, and like you said, you had a single come out in November, then January, it's like boom, 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 you're featured in magazines like Flaunt and Bazaar. So you've just taken off. It's incredible and remarkable.
Thank you. Actually, it's funny that you say that because I lived a whole other life before this. And I mean, even once I decided to not go to law school and do music, I feel like I've lived 5 lives since then. But yeah, I mean, I come from like a super, Long Island Jewish family. Mom's a doctor, dad's a pilot, which is already like black sheepy enough, I always wanted to do music, and I never really thought it was an option as like a real career. And then the first day of my senior year of college, my brother passed away. And for a whole host of reasons, that was kind of obviously a life-changing situation. But yeah, it kind of makes you be like, well, nobody's getting out of here alive. So what do you really want to spend your time doing? Do you care more about like making money and like driving nice cars, or do you care more about creating art or, whatever it is? And that was sort of, what made me pivot and not go to law school. And then, they say like it takes 10 years to become an overnight success. And I wouldn't say I'm like the overnight success yet, in that like I'm not a household name. Everybody doesn't know who I am, but I feel like I've had like my first, do you know what I mean? It's like,
I know you're saying,
okay. Like my first little overnight success. And it's like, okay, no, I didn't just like put out a song 3 months ago and all of a sudden I'm in Harper's Bazaar. Like this is years in the making, but it took a lot of different lives to get there.
I know that you've spoken openly about it and what your brother meant to you, and how even he was really an influence for you wanting to get into the music industry as well
Well,
too.
his name's Jordan.
Yes.
So my moniker is his name.
Mhm.
So, he's ultimately the person, situation, whatever, angle you look at it from, that pushed me to say, like, you know what? No, I'm going to go for this. So what better way to pay tribute to him than to, do it for both of us? He doesn't get to do it. So my birth name is Michelle. So yeah, Jordan Michelle was born. It's very life and death and rebirth, but gotta keep it moving.
I like what you said about rebirth, because there was this period, growing up, and I remembered being young and we were making movies. And there was a friend that I had who taught me everything I know about movies. And I thought, okay,
Mhm.
we're going to grow up and we're going to, have our careers together. He ended up going down a different road. So I lost him once when we were teenagers. And then, but it was weird because right when that ended, I had an older friend who kind of brought me into this adult world. So within a year, it was like, okay, this chapter's over. He unfortunately passed away a few years later. And then in that span of time, there were certain people in that world that I got into who were passing away. And it was,
Right.
then it just drove me to want to go to college. And then I was carrying all this baggage. And then I was at the gym. They still can't figure out why I had this arrhythmia. So it was just weird how,
Wow.
this thing happens to me and then I come back. But that was always like kind of this mark where it was like, okay, you know what, I was on the wrong path. I was looking at things differently. And what I really admire about you is just when you talk about your healing, and I can feel it like in a lot of your songs. Even when I read about you and I hear about what you've gone through, I can connect with that. I've understood losses, different chapters of life, and then just really
Sure.
thinking like, I need to go on with my passion and get on this career. And that's something I learned from you by, reading about you and your career.
First of all, thank you so much. I love that perception and I love that that comes across. And also, what a journey for you. But yeah, first of all, the physical manifestation of like pain in the body is so real, and it's like, if we're just like directed one way or another, like I actually got vertigo for a month after my brother died. No explanation, never had vertigo before. Like, it's just like that's what trauma does. But um yeah, it caused me to like, you get to a point of pain where you really just can't ignore it anymore. So I actually like went down this path of like plant medicine. So, started working with a shaman, doing ceremonies, mushrooms, ayahuasca, and like really just like digging deep. And it's a hard process, and it never really ends, like pain is inevitable. And it new pain comes when you've healed from old pain. And it's a weird thing with losing someone because you never really heal from it, like life gets easier. There's still a scar, it might not be an oozing wound, but there's still a scar. I'll never say like, oh, thank God that my brother died so I could be Jordan Michelle. That's not it. Thank God I'm able to move forward with what's been dealt to me. At the end of the day, you have to just make the best of it. What other option do you have? But it's interesting when it comes to music, because obviously that's also very therapeutic for me. And so many of my songs, not Kids in Love is really sweet, but like Have a Nice Life is really angry, really aggressive. There's a lot of that like grit in a lot of my songs. And it's so funny because my friends are always like, you're the happiest person I know. Like you're so like bubbly, and like this isn't a match. But like it is, because we all like, I can say I'm a happy person, but I'm also a really sad person. I'm also a really angry person. I'm also a really uh, like ditzy person, a really serious person. Like moods and feelings, they're all fleeting, right? Like we're all dynamic. We all have all these sides to us. Like one day I'll resonate with a happy song, a sad song, an upbeat song. Like that's what music is. So it's like really cool to be able to channel something that maybe I don't wear every day, let that voice be heard.
That is so beautifully put. And I think, I believe that's what art is really about. It's about going to those places. And I'm with you where you never escape pain. I've gone through several chapters after my arrhythmia. I was on this track for a bit. I'm like, great. And then all of a sudden, I find if I'm not challenging myself, then that's when I start to slump again. I'm like, wait, okay, why am I feeling this way again? Why am I starting to go down this route? I need to reevaluate. And then that opens up a good opportunity for a change. And I feel like I've had to reinvent myself so many times. And I could honestly say it's really been like the last 7, 8 years where I felt like I just got to a place where I'm like, I know what works for me, and I know having certain relationships, having certain energy just doesn't anymore. I need to acknowledge that. But it's like even a bad relationship or just a bad
Totally.
situation that you were in. I mean, there's still those marks that remind us. I mean, that's why they're created. But then it's, for me, it's really been a test of just not getting sucked back in. And like what you're saying, just go forward, use it to really, and then the beauty is when, because even just reading about you and listening to your music, I already know and I can relate to it. Like I became a fan
Mhm.
before we jumped on this call today. I was like,
Love that.
dude, this
Thank you.
is really, yeah, I was like, I was really looking forward to talking with you because I really enjoyed your music. And then when I found out more about you, I was like, this is someone that I want to talk to, that I'm interested in, that I just really have a respect for. And I'm really happy for you and everything that you've accomplished.
Oh, I really, really appreciate that. That's a very nice thing to say. And no, I'm so glad that that's the impact that it has. Because I wouldn't know that, like I put the music out. I hope people like it. I hope that it resonates. So I'm glad that it did with you. It's interesting too, because like, my have a nice life, the hook literally goes, have a fucked up life. And it's like at some point we all feel that about someone, right? Like we all want to just tell them to shove it, but you don't usually. But like you still like that needs a voice. Like your anger needs an outlet. So you got to just put it somewhere. And even like, so Kids in Love, I wrote it about my boyfriend. And last year we were in quarantine and we had this whirlwind relationship, and it was very reminiscent of our teenage years, just because like, we were in quarantine, so we couldn't go out. We weren't going to like Soho House on the weekends. We were basically just like going up to the roof and like drinking bourbon like we did when we were like kids sneaking around. So, that's like what the feeling of that song is. It's like teenage love. I mean, like I talk about like sneaking in through your window. Like obviously I don't have to sneak in through his window. So it's like, there's always just that artistic liberty that you take with music. But it's more like, what feeling does it trigger? That's always what writing songs is about for me. It's more so about like an emotion than it is actually about like being literal.
I am aware of the relationship you're talking about. It was featured in People magazine as well too.
It was.
Couples that got together during the quarantine.
Yeah.
That's such an awesome story in itself. And I know what you mean, where even just, I mean, it took like years after being a teenager when I felt like I really connected with someone on a different level. And then I felt like, we were teenagers again or something like that. It was like that kind of romance.
It like feels like being in love for the first time. Yeah.
Exactly. Yes. No, that's really interesting. And I'm stoked that it's out now. I really just admire you, your passion, your work. Is there anything that you would like to say to your fans out there?
I mean, thanks for listening. That's really the bottom line. It's such a labor of love. I don't think most people realize how much it takes to just like put one song out. Like what, just like the audacity, but also, just the work, the investment. So every single stream, every single person who it touches, I'm so, 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 so grateful.
Everyone, I need you to follow Jordan Michelle. You can get her new single, which is available today on all digital platforms. It is called Kids in Love. It's a beautiful song. And you also have to watch the video for Have a Nice Life. Are we going to see a video for Kids in Love as well, too?
Yes. So actually we're putting it out on Monday, and we decided, so like the song was written in such like, so it was written in such an authentic moment. So we actually just shot the video when we were on vacation in Costa Rica. So like, it's very like home movie style, but it's super cute and I can't wait to put it out. So yeah, that'll be out Monday.
This weekend, you need to get rocking with Kids in Love. And then on Monday for Valentine's Day, you're going to be able to see the music video. I really connect with you, your music. I'm really happy for your success. You've been an inspiration and you have a great voice. You're an artist with a message and a lot of depth. And thank you for what you do.
Well, I can't hear that enough. So thank you again. And thank you for having me. This has been fun.
It's a blast. Anytime you want to come on, let's rock out.
Awesome. I'm here for it.
Thank you so much for rocking out with me and Jordan Michelle today. You are on air with Kash.